And I think it highlights one of my favorite themes in One Piece, which is believing in one's potential and dreams and the growth that can result from the guidance of an experienced mentor. Hi guys, it's Yume and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about the great mentors of One Piece. Let's analyze the top 5 mentors and their impact on the protégé and how they help to shape the One Piece world. So let's grab your straw hat and let's set sail. And the first mentor I want to talk about is Dracule Mihawk. And Mihawk, as we know, is the greatest swordsman in the world. And we were introduced of his character in the beginning of the story and during the Baratie arc. And that was the first time Zoro fought against Mihawk and lost. Now, Mihawk took Zoro under his wing and made him his protege, kind of like train him during the time skip after the Marineford War. And I think the first question we need to ask is like, why would Mihawk train his rival or his enemy? And to first answer this is we need to look at Mihawk as a character. Firstly, Mihawk sees potential in Zoro and his unwavering determination to become the world's greatest swordsman. And this is evident during the first battle in Baratie. And even though Zoro lost, he's shown his determination, his honor as a swordsman, that Mihawk acknowledges Zoro's strength and spirit. And he even encourages Zoro to grow stronger and challenge him again. So when we see later on after the Marineford War, during the time skip where Zoro actually begged Mihawk on his knees to become his mentor, we see first Zoro's character, like his humility, how he discarded his pride and become humble enough in order to protect his nakama and his captain, Luffy. And he needs to grow stronger, and even though that means that he needs to back his rival, then so be it. And I think Mihawk sees this and decides to train Zoro because he sees Zoro's maturity and also sees how the length of Zoro's willingness to go for his dreams. And we see the result of this training is especially during the Wano arc. And Zoro finally acquires the legendary sword Enma, and his skills grow exponentially, and he is, I think, by now, I'm not sure where he is compared to Mihawk, but he's definitely much stronger. Now, our second mentor, the Dark King himself, Silver Rayleigh. Rayleigh is firstly intrigued by Luffy's unwavering convictions and his resemblance to Goldie Rogers, Rayleigh's captain.
やれるか君に君にこの強固な海を支配できるか
支配なんかしねえよこの海で一番自由なやつが海賊王だん
そうか
Rayleigh taught Luffy how to master the 3 types of haki. And we know that this haki is very important, especially as the story progresses towards the new world. Like the 3 types of haki: observation, armaments haki, and the conqueror's haki.
これを高めれば
Luffy uses this especially during his fight against Katakuri in the Whole Cake arc, for example. Like, Luffy uses his advanced haki skills to defeat Katakuri. And it's clear that Rayleigh play a huge role in Luffy's growth as a pirate. But not just in terms of techniques. I think Rayleigh is very instrumental in helping Luffy to rise again and motivate him again after he loses Ace. And that's, I think, is really, really important. So from these two mentors, Mihawk and Rayleigh, and their decisions to join Zoro and Luffy respectively, showcased how this older generation is able to see the potential of these characters and how they could change the world. And I think it highlights one of my favorite themes in One Piece, which is believing in one's potential and dreams and the growth that can result from the guidance of an experienced mentor. And the third mentor I want to highlight is Bellemere. And even though Bellemere is not as famous as Mihawk or Rayleigh, I want to talk about her because Bellemere is Nami's adoptive mother, and she had an immense impact on Nami's life. Bellemere was a former Marine who took Nami and Nojiko and raised them up as her adoptive daughters. And in the flashback in the Arlong arc, we see Bellemere teaching Nami and Nojiko the importance of never giving up and the importance of loving someone, protecting someone, and all these lessons have immense impact in Nami's character. And we see how she grew up to be the Nami we know today, the courageous navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates. So we see Bellemere's influence in Nami's life, like when Nami remembers about Bellemere's sacrifice and her encouragement. It's what motivates her to fight against Arlong and to devise all these plans and fight for the freedom of her village. So we see that even though this character doesn't really have like any special skills or especially strong, Bellemere's influence of love and teaching is also an important that we should remember. Now, number 4, Shanks. We can't forget about Shanks, our most influential mentors in One Piece, the charismatic captain of the Red Hair Pirates. And we see how Shanks is the one who first inspired Luffy to become a pirate and sets him up for this incredible journey of One Piece. And ever since the first chapter, when Shanks saves Luffy in the sea and thereby sacrificing his arm, we see how this act of bravery and selflessness and his not only saves Luffy's life, but also teaches him the importance of friendship, of loyalty, of protecting your friends, and all of this leaves a lasting impression on the young Luffy and shapes him to the Luffy we know today. And during the same incident, Shanks also gave him his straw hat to Luffy, like symbolizing the passing of torch to the next generation. And we see this how Luffy is inspired by Shanks and he wants to be a pirate king. This is the mentorship that sets the foundations for Luffy character and acted as the central theme of One Piece. And another crucial lessons that Shanks taught Luffy is also in the beginning when we first see him, when Shanks and his crew visits Luffy in his village. And in the scene, they were in a bar and there was this bandit who insults Shanks and pours a drink out for him. But even though Shanks could beat that man to pulp, he chose to ignore him because he knows that it's pointless to engage in pointless battles, and thereby teaching Luffy the importance of not engaging in pointless battles. And Shanks' composed and calm demeanor during this confrontation greatly influenced Luffy until today. And we see an example of this is when Luffy and Zoro was in the Jaya Island during the beginning of the Skypiea arc, where they meet Bellemere, and Bellemere was being all annoying and insulting Luffy, but Luffy chooses to just ignore him. Exactly how Shanks used to do it. And this lesson could be seen throughout the series, where Luffy's fight when there's a reason to fight. He fights to protect others, he fights to protect his nakama, he fights for the freedom of others, but he does not engage in pointless battles. And I think this is just very, very heartwarming. But besides Shanks' impact on Luffy, I think Shanks also demonstrates a great mentorship towards his own crew. And we see this especially highlighted during the Marineford War, where Shanks is the guy with no devil fruit. He only has one arm, but his crew and him is strong enough, is respected enough by the whole force, by the whole Marine force, that they had no choice but to stop the war when Shanks stepped in. Power, and I just think that this is powerful. And so we see how Shanks' mentorship, including his teachings about loyalty and when to engage in battles, actually shapes Luffy's characters and help him become the captain, the beloved captain we know today. Now, last but not least, let's talk about Whitebeard, the strongest man in the One Piece as he was introduced, and the captain of the Whitebeard pirate, Edward Newgate. And as the captain of the Whitebeard pirate, he was a father figure of many of his crew members, and he provides guidance, support, and a sense of belonging. Like the crew calls him Pops, like father. And even though he mentored many, one of his most notable protege is Ace. A moment of silence. And during Whitebeard and Ace's first meeting, we see how Ace first tried to assassinate him. But Whitebeard recognizes Ace's potential and his longing to find a place where he belongs. So he took Ace under his wing, and he recognizes Ace's potential and eventually makes him a commander of his fleet. And at the end of his life, Whitebeard gives this very powerful, very heartwarming speech in the Marineford War. And in this inspirational speech, he speaks of the importance of family, of love, of loyalty, values that he instilled Ace and the rest of his crew. And such values is very different from the other yonkos of the world, like Big Mom or Kaido. And this shows how Whitebeard really cared deeply for his crew. And not just Ace, he also impacted others, like for example, Marco the Phoenix, one of Whitebeard's commander as well. And he vowed to carry Whitebeard's legacy. And ultimately, we see how Whitebeard is able to take all his men and inspire them and leave a lasting legacy. What I really like about One Piece is how it presents us with a diverse range of mentors, each contributing to the growth and development of our beloved character, like Dracule Mihawk's swordsmanship, teaching it to Zoro, Rayleigh's mentorships and guidance to Luffy, and Shanks' lessons on courage, loyalty, and when to avoid pointless battles, and Whitebeard's fatherly guidance for Ace, and also the way Bellemere teaches about courage, sacrifice, and love towards Nami. And we see how all these mentors teach us some really valuable lessons, and they leave such indelible mark on their proteges. And I just think that it's very inspirational when we think about them. And it reminds us of the importance of having strong mentors in our lives. And anyway guys, that's the end of my analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Are there any mentors in One Piece that I have not talked about but you really liked? Please leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and help me out. And I hope to see you next time. See you!